Hello, collective. All right. This is going to be part one of part two. This is going to be for the divine masculine. All right. And then when I read for the feminine, it will be a look through their eyes, their perspective, their perception, their vantage point of this connection. Because I mean, the common theme with with these readings and with the twin flame journey is miscommunication. All right, we've got the Emperor here, so divine masculines, you are showing up as very much in your, I mean, the Emperor didn't come out, so you're working on something. The Eight of Pentacles was kind of did a swirly thing when I was shuffling, and tried to pop out. Eight of Pentacles is like working on something new, broadening your horizons. You could be traveling or moving, or changing jobs, but the Eight of Pentacles, 8 is all about cycles. It's all about a new cycle, changing direction, an opportunity to change direction, of course. And so there is maybe a masculine here that is just starting a new job or a new project. This connection could be their primary focus, but the Eight of Pentacles is somebody who's very focused on a task, and it's typically a new task, which is why they kind of have to work day and night. Kid Cudi, day and night. I wish I knew more of the lyrics. I do when the song's on. I know every single lyric for sure. And something in my mind. Could be up in your head about this, masculine. So this is reading for your energy so that you can decide based on what energy I'm pulling from this particular divine masculine collective, whether this is your reading or not. And if you're like, this isn't me, I'm not doing anything cool. We have the King of Wands here. That's somebody who's doing something cool. I mean, even though they're hot, they're doing things that are, they're creating something. The divine masculine in the King of Wands energy is somebody, this is someone who's just very focused on work. Because wands can be work. They are also, I mean, the energy of the King of Wands is somebody who goes after what they want. They get, the feminine gets what they want, because feminine energy receives, and masculine goes after, and they go after what they want. They pursue what they want. Again, it could be this connection, or they could just be very focused on work. His fist is clenched there. And what is that? Arthur? Maybe the name Arthur. It is Arthur, right? The little, like, anteater. He's not an anteater. Aardvark. That's what he is, right? Maybe the letter A is important here. And just as I'm seeing that, I see this V upside down with the Five of Swords. So A, it is very much perspective based. You both see this connection completely opposite from each other. And I feel like the masculine said something and he's kind of kicking himself for it because his fist is clenched here, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Or maybe he's thinking, I should have said that, because with the Five of Swords, this indicates somebody has a blockage in communication. Three of Swords. Three of Swords is heartbreak, disappointment. Yeah, Arthur the Aardvark. It reminds me of the meme that was made from the show Arthur. Why does that not sound like his name? Maybe this person goes by a different name. Maybe you go by a different name, masculines. You like go by your middle name or something, or this person does. Or have you ever tried to remember somebody's name so much that it never sounds right? It evades you even more. It's like there's something elusive about this connection. Okay. But that meme where his fist is clenched, and it's kind of like, it's like, but I don't know what is happening in that scene. I think Arthur's maybe standing up to a bully or something. I don't know. It's some kind of message like that. We got the Eight of Pentacles again. So yeah, maybe you masculines are like, maybe you're seeing You could be seeing your feminine getting bullied. 7 of Cups in reverse. Oh, okay. So the feminine, this masculine could be seeing the feminine with a lot of options, and they're like, oh, that guy is not good enough for my feminine. That person, or like, why does she keep doing that? Okay, so I started watching, finally, after all these years and references, I started watching the show You, and it's cleverly written. You know, he's stalking this woman. So maybe there is a Page of Swords energy here where the masculine is observing, watching, but not hopefully in the same way that he is in the show. He's a little cuckoo. But, you know, we're all a little crazy in love, right? But he's watching her sleep with all these men, and she's, you know, just like easy, giving herself away, going out to clubs, selfie, you know, like it's all like this false facade. And this 7 of Cups in reverse could be somebody, like the masculine could see this feminine and see them as being like, you could do better than that. Like, maybe not just with, you know, partners that they're sleeping with, but they could see them as being maybe a little bit frivolous. And they know that there's like depth to this feminine that they wish they could see more of. But again, it's all in reverse. This masculine could think that this feminine has a lot of suitors, and maybe that they are sleeping around, and maybe the feminine's like, it's been 84 years, Titanic. Page of Cups here. Oh, I will go down with this ship. I will not put my flag up and surrender. So there could be a stubbornness here. Or maybe the masculine is going to come in, and they just see this feminine kind of like going down, like they're drowning maybe. And this like Page of Cups here is maybe like the masculine wanting to, they see their little boat. It's like the feminine's in a storm in a dinghy. What is that? Good Will Hunting, the scene with Robin Williams and Matt Damon. Team America. So yeah, maybe something with like, you know, that area of Boston. I don't know, Southie, is that what they call them? Anyway, there's like a lot of turmoil, but he was a veteran. He went through a lot. He lost his partner to cancer. So there could be a widow or widower, or some kind of loss of somebody very important to a masculine here. But he, you know, he's talking about the portrait. Like somebody's reading this feminine, this masculine's reading this feminine. And you could be doing this, you could be mirroring this and doing this to each other, because that is how it goes. As like a portrait. This masculine feels like they're analyzing this portrait, but like in that movie, he's got it all wrong. You know, it's like, maybe he hit some truths, right? Because he did hit some nerves with Robin Williams' character. He chokes him up against the wall. You know, he gets pretty pissed. But then he realizes, like, that's how the union, when you come together in the 3D, you trigger the shit out of each other sometimes, because you're meant to grow in those areas. So he needed to be humbled in that aspect, like that he let a kid get to him. You know, he let a kid like get under his skin. So there is some kind of elements of bullying, or some kind of elements of interference around the outside, people having different objectives for this feminine. Because now I'm seeing Matt Damon, so you could be dealing with a Libra. I think he's a Libra. As like a feminine here. Could be a child involved, or like some kind of, again, if somebody lost a partner, there could be like a sense of orphan. Even if an adult lost their parent, you know, you can still feel orphaned. What's that movie? The End of the World. It's not the end of the world, but there is a catastrophic event. Is it Deep Impact? Yeah, with Frodo. Frodo's in there. Right? And Tia Leone? Is her name Tia Leone? Anyway, you know, the world is ending, and has this turmoil with her father, so there could be something with the father figure or parental figure here. the masculine could be a father. Luke, I am your father. But she tells her dad, you know, I feel like an orphan. You know, and her parents have been separated for many years at this point and all that, but it's like, so there could be, you know, a child of divorce dynamic here. There's a lot of childhood wounds, it sounds like, that are being triggered by this connection. So that's the good stuff. We got death at the bottom here, so it could be a Scorpio involved. But we have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, this masculine here, this masculine is kicking themselves because they're like, I should have spoken up about how I felt. You know, fire and water don't typically go well together. So you could be a fire and water sign, or have like strong placements, but that could just be your energy. This feminine could be operating from a very water-based place, and the masculine is over here in the most distinctly masculine element, fire, going, I should have just dipped into, but they're afraid. With the Three of Swords, that's 3 swords through the heart, that disappointment, that heartbreak, that tragedy with their childhood wounds, of how to communicate and receive love. Giving and having. Friends, Joey, maybe the name Joe or Joey, the letter J. But it's having and receiving when he writes the vows for Chandler and Monica. It just keeps repeating those 3 same words. Sharing and having and giving and receiving, you know, 4 words, I guess. But this masculine is kicking themselves because their fist is balled up and they're like, but they have their stick here, their big wand. Maybe they have a big wand. Good for you, masculines. But it's like they have this, and just having that big stick is like, oh, very bravado and confident and all of these things. But I'm actually kind of a sissy when it comes to my feelings. And their cup runneth over. So they have a lot of emotions. It's not that they're dried up or lacking on emotions. But when fire meets water, right, it becomes a boil. It's a boil on the skin. But it comes to a boil. It's hard to get it at a simmer, at a nice warm bath temperature, you know. But this Ace of Cups, there does seem to be like a new beginning coming together. We also have the Ace of Pentacles. So aces are new beginnings. And they're coming out of the clouds. So feminines, if you're cross-watching right now, this is kind of coming out of the blue. And masculines, if you've been contemplating sending a message or communicating with this feminine, reaching out to this feminine, because that's what these hands are doing. They're reaching out of the clouds with this offer of something stable and something emotionally gratifying and fulfilling. I don't know why I said gratifying, but I don't know. Maybe I got a little tripped up by that big wand over there. And then we have the Two of Wands here. This masculine is wondering, will this feminine choose me? Because they see this feminine as having all these options, but it being in reverse tells me like, and this figure here is like a shadow, right? They're all darkened out. So it's accessing some sort of shadow of being, I mean, maybe this masculine was cheated on or deceived or abandoned, neglected. Maybe they were, yeah. What is it? Always the bachelor, never the groom. Doesn't really work the same, I don't think. All right, let's see what's going on with this feminine. So masculines, if you're here to know what's going on with your feminine, like where you're getting it wrong, because somebody got it wrong here. Somebody got their assessment wrong. There was some right aspects, I'm sure, because it definitely triggers both of you. But the Fool, somebody got it wrong. Maybe the feminine is feeling like a fool as well. The Fool usually takes a leap of faith toward love. They're like YOLO, you know. We have the Chariot, yeah. Death and the Devil. Oh wait. Oh, and that fucking Five of Cups. 5 of Swords, 5 of Cups. So there's something in communication, something in the heart space that is blocked. And yeah, it does look like maybe there was some sort of maternal issue here. Maybe you both share a maternal issue because this mother is like berating and talking down to this child. This fucking child. Come on. But yeah, we have the Devil here, and the Devil is over here with this 5 of Cups. Basically, like, this is the thing that haunts this masculine. from moving forward. And because I'm reading about the masculine in the feminine deck, and I'm trying to give the masculine a peek into how the feminine views it. The feminine, with all these major arcana, this feminine views this connection as being very important. But with death and the devil, they're like, this masculine is not open to love. Like, they're in the Five of Cups, they're looking at the past. This could be a past lover too. Maybe there was, I mean, that's just how it goes. Once you have a parental fracture, you just keep reverberating that energy back out into the universe until you keep receiving it, and you're like, why do I keep receiving the same thing? And it's like, until you have that aha moment, you know, like that breakthrough moment, something about therapy. Maybe this masculine is doing that. Maybe this feminine has been through a lot of therapy because or just very emotionally aware, which is more feminine energy for sure. This masculine's still in the physical very much. I mean, that is, the masculine is the ruler of 3D and the physical. The feminine is the ruler of the 5D. And when they come together, magic. It's magic. We have this death here, though. The feminine is seeing this like an ending. I don't know, maybe this feminine sees a rebirth, because with 13, which is the death card, it's also the number 4. Could be a life path number 4. It's also 4 is 1111. It is the 4 of Wands. It's the marriage card, and it's also the elementalist. That's what life path 4s are. They are elementalists, right? And the magician is the element. They're the divine alchemist, and they are the elementalist. They use all of the elements to their benefit to create their desired reality. And that's why there are false magicians and true magicians. Maybe this feminine views it as like a manipulative tactic, or self-deception for sure. But with death and rebirth, there's that rebirth, that creation, right? 1111 is like a creation number. 3 is also a creation number. So 13, death, scorpionic energy again. And there's this pregnancy here, right? There's this rebirth. There's something gestating after this little fucker is crushed, which this little fucker is the devil. So this feminine might see their purpose, part of their purpose, or part of this, the purpose of this connection being so important with all these major arcana. It's like major arcana are unavoidable plot points in your life. They're going to come in because in order to become the divine alchemist and the emperor and the empress, right? You can't just be born into a kingdom or a queendom as your element. You have to travel around and explore all of these life lessons and learn them, right? Like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, maybe one of you is a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout. Very specifically, maybe you are with the single parent thing here. You could be a single parent and your child is like, this is like their little league coach or their Girl Scout leader or something, you know, like maybe you meet through your children, you know, like the daycare or something that you take them to, your babysitter. Make sure everything's legal, right? Everything's consensual here. Nothing weird. But the Fool here, so I want to get this one to see if this feminine does see any hope. Ace of Swords. If there's communication, they're holding out for communication. If there's communication, we've got aces here. They see a new beginning, but there's a conversation that needs to be had. The Fool here, I don't know, they feel like a fool too. They want this masculine to take a leap of faith toward them. But then look, this masculine is looking at the past. The 5 of Cups is looking at the past. It's crying over spilled milk. It's not cutting some sort of emotional cord. And that cord, anytime you try to move forward, it's like dental floss, you know, around your heart space. It's just gonna, piano wire. We'll say piano wire. I don't know why I said dental floss. Maybe you need a floss. Maybe you like oral hygiene. Okay, good on you. Maybe you're in the dental industry. That's how you meet. You're like, those are some nice bicuspids. Anyway, so the this like piano wires, if you don't cut that cord, it's just gonna kind of slice through the heart. It's gonna cut through the heart. The more you try to move forward, you have to get rid of that. You have to release that before you can move forward, because if you bring that hurt and you bring that trauma into the relationship without a conversation, that's the thing, it's with you, it's part of you, your shadows are part of you. You can't just like, bye, get rid of all that trauma or whatever. Disappointment and heartache, like, you're a human being. It's talking about it though, putting it out there so your partner knows when you react this way, it's because of that. When you go quiet, they know that that's how you deal with confrontation, or how you solve issues. It's all communication, like fucking communication. The Hierophant here. Yeah, you have to communicate with everyone around you. We are communicating with everyone around us anyway, right? When you go and you are an asshole to the cashier, or you smile at somebody, you're communicating to them how you treat yourself, how you want to be treated. And it shifts the energy, obviously. I mean, we know like a smile is contagious and all of that. So is a yawn. Somebody could be very tired here, because it does kind of feel like dating or interacting or socializing might be very exhausting to somebody here. So one of you could be very much introverted and the other not so much. But the Hierophant here is like, and it got water damage. I don't know, something spilled, probably like something from like my hygiene bag leaked, oils or some nonsense. But it's like saturated. Somebody is afraid of cups here. But if you don't communicate, masculines, feminines, both alike, if you don't communicate these shadows to your person, first you have to communicate with yourself. That's what the Hierophant does. They're a spiritual leader, but that's because they've done the work, right? This is somebody who has sat with themselves. They've shut the hell up. They're in silence. They're, connecting with source, whether that be through prayer, divination, meditation, however you do that, right? Service, acts of service. This is somebody who is very aware of their effect on others, right? This feminine is somebody who is very, and they could be a Taurus, they could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Capricorn, Aries, or Aquarius. Those are the major arcana that are out here. But somebody who understands that we are part of a larger collective, in whatever sense or whatever nomenclature they use, that's irrelevant. They understand the only truth in all religions and all spiritual concepts and practices and cultures, that we are all part of a whole, right? Whatever you call that whole, a whole is a whole with a W. Whatever you call that whole, that collective, is up to you, and it's irrelevant. There's something about your spiritual core, you and this person, you want to take a leap of faith toward each other, because I feel like your faith is aligned. Whatever that faith looks like, you have very similar core values. Jeez Louise. Maybe somebody is really tripping on their words here. Somebody's very shy and doesn't know how to communicate effectively. Have you ever tried to just speak something out or stand up for yourself and you feel that choke, right? People pleasers, whenever they start speaking full sentences, 2-letter sentences, you start saying no, and you start asking why somebody hurt you, or you start confronting people. It's like you always have this quiver until you get empowered. So and the Magician is the throat chakra. So there's something with this feminine being tuned into this, but like this being waterlogged, Taurus is ruled by the throat chakra, and the Magician rules the throat chakra, so Gemini and Virgo as well. This is somebody who like has had to do a lot of work on themselves to be able to stay in their truth. And there's also a purity about somebody who is like the Hierophant, so that's the energy of the feminine that this collective of masculines is dealing with. So there's an honesty here. Their knees are locked, so there could be a period of singlehood or celibacy, which is, again, why it makes me laugh with this Seven of Cups, because I feel like this masculine has it all wrong. They're going to discover that somehow. That truth will come out, and they're going to come in with this Chariot. Once they're like, oh, maybe they're going to find out that this feminine is interested in them as well, and that they would choose them. And then they'll come in. But it's almost like they need that vote of confidence, because they are a bit timid when it comes to explorations of the heart chakra, of love. See how they're armored up. They're going to come in. Cancerian energy, the Chariot, is the heart space. It's somebody who, you know, Cancer is a cardinal sign. We all have a modality. And cardinal is fire energy, because everything breaks down to elements, right? So again, more of the elemental thing. There's something very compatible about the way you view energy, spirituality, community, because we have this Five of Pentacles and this Four of Pentacles. You've dealt with people who took, both of you. Yeah, maybe this masculine thought this feminine was like a taker. Like they just took opportunities, they took gold digger, or like maybe they just had this really not great vantage point of this feminine. And they're going to find out like, oh, but because they were triggered, because this is a soulmate connection, they were triggered. But because they were triggered, it made them go, oh, this person must be bad. This person must be a problem. This person is an antagonist. This person is coming into my life to do something. Like they felt under attack because this feminine hit their heart space. And they're like, oh, no, I don't actually have one of those. Yes, you do. This is very much that Cancerian energy. I mean, it is the Cancerian card, but it's like moving forward, but with your pincers and your little crab claws, and you're all armored up, like, you know. That reminds me of when I was a child. I was on one of those floaties with the little windows, and a crab was chasing me. I jumped up on it and I saw it like in a movie, you know, the last minute. It's like, oh, like in Jurassic Park, where every time the raptor goes and you're like, it's gonna get her foot. Never does. Spoiler alert. But you always feel like, oh, there's that kind of like rush, and it's also like a roller coaster. There's something about like that Cancerian energy like popping up out of the blue. I think it's going to give this feminine a bit of a like, ooh. But they are tapped in, this feminine with this Hierophant energy. So they may know it's coming. Like they're like, yeah, I know my masculine's coming in. Chariot, sure, I know. But there's something about like when it actually happens, I think it's still going to be a shock. It's still going to be like, ooh. And maybe you're going to see them in public or something, and you have that sort of like belly flip thing, or you think you see them, but it's actually a false alarm. Something with a false alarm. And again, I get that this masculine's feeling that way about the feminine. And I am going to do the next reading I'm going to do is for the reverse, how the feminine views how the masculine views the feminine. Because this is the character of the feminine that this collective is dealing with. And it's actually somebody who's very honest and true and noble and stands in their truth. They speak truth. So maybe they heard something about, yeah, they heard a lie. This masculine heard a lie. Which is Pisces energy. Like someone who's impressionable. Well, the Pisces out there are going to come after me. Let's see. But yeah, somebody could have been impressionable or trusted the wrong person. They're about to find out. The Fool in reverse, Six of Wands. Yeah, maybe they said something with that Five of Swords. Maybe somebody, see, because this Five of Swords, this character here is looking at everyone else like, haha, I said something really profound. Like, I mean, this is just a very simple example, but the masculine could have been like, yeah, well, you're a slut. You know? They could have just said something very cutting, and they thought like they had the goods to back it up, but they didn't have the goods to back up whatever this statement was, whatever they said, whatever this conversation or communication or exchange was that you had with them. And yeah, now it's like the Seven of Swords over here is somebody eating their words, because it put this feminine out here with her droopy titties, like she's out here feeling sad, and the Five of Pentacles, it really made her question her self-worth. So there is this wonder about, will this feminine accept this Ace of Pentacles, right? Or is she going to just hold on to what she has, you know? And it's ironic that the 4 and the 1 equal 5, and 5 of Pentacles puts you in this place. So yeah, somebody's concerned that it's going to be a cycle. Nine of Cups. Well, there is... Here's the mutual energy. Okay, we have that Queen of Cups, the bottom here. Ace of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. So this is a wish fulfillment. Ten of Pentacles is like the most solid, growing old together, foundational turnout outcome for a relationship, for a solid relationship. If that's what you're into, if you're into all that, you know, solid, stable monogamy. Ugh. Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is, so we've got all the aces out here. This is new. This is a new connection. This may be a past person that you've dealt with, right? But they're going to come in a completely new energy. They're going to feel like a new person. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want anyone from the past because they did me wrong, or because, yeah, I just didn't like how that went down. And I can't imagine, you know, anybody coming in a different energy. Well, imagine it, because it's coming in. Or this could be a new connection, a pretty recent connection, and you could have a brief, because I am getting that in the collective. Hanged Man in reverse, more Pisces energy. Ooh, and the 11-11, Four of Wands. That is the inevitability of this. But again, we all have free will, so there is no like way to say that's an inevitability, depending on what you believe. Because I feel like your reality kind of bends. Yeah, Four of Cups. This masculine's worried this feminine is not going to take their offer. But they're coming in as an elementalist with all 4 of the aces. That's what the Magician does. They create a new reality, so they come in with the aces of all the elements. So this masculine is pretty damn close to Emperor energy here. The Empress has not come out, but maybe she will in the reading for the feminine. And I will start with the feminine deck, and I will be doing that shortly after this uploads. Okay, so I hope there was something in here for you, and until next time, I wish you well.